Hey, how are you all doing today? Welcome back to another Tuesday of KBBU's Where Are They Now? So we are super excited today. We have a very special guest. Oh my God, you want to make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button first at KB Michelle Green. And also you want to share this with a friend. Listen, KBBU alumni, make sure that you go ahead and get this video out to your classmates right now because you want to hear this. Where are they now? Today we are going to be talking about media and marketing. And guess what? We have our very own Dr. Tina J. Ramsay. Yes, we do. So we're going to talk about where is she now based on where she came from. So let's just jump right in. Thank you for being here, Dr. Tina.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yes. We are super excited to find a little something about you that we didn't even know. Okay, so let's talk about it. Tell us a little bit about your lifestyle. So who are you and what is it that people want to know about you?
Well, I don't know what it is that people want to know about me, but this is what I'm about to tell you. Okay. So for those of you who may not know, you see the CTR Media Network, but who is the person, or I would say one of the people behind CTR, which is me. CTR Media Network is a family-owned business. So you will see that I am, God gave me the vision, so that therefore I'm the CEO and founder. My husband is the COO. My daughter is the administrative assistant. And my son, he does different parts dealing with editing and all that good stuff like that. And then we have an amazing team outside of that we brought on from all over the world that actually help us do the thing that CTR Media Network does.
Oh my God. Hold on a minute. Time out. Because there's some people that don't even know who you are or what it is that you do. So we just found out that you're married, that you have 2 kids, and we see that you have a family-owned business, CTR Media Network. That's what I'm talking about. But let's go back a little bit because we're kind of speeding up to the end of the show. So let's go back and talk about when you were growing up. When you were growing up, was there a particular moment or challenge that you feel shaped where you are today or shaped your mindset of the world?
Yes, it was a particular moment that shaped my life. For many people who do not know, I experienced being assaulted at a very young age. And I normally don't talk about that. So I got assaulted at a very young age. The good thing is that my parents was there for me. Normally you hear about children that finally say that something happened to them and it happened within the close family circle that no one believes them. I was very blessed to have amazing parents that when it came out, they became my fighters. They became, they rallied behind me. They did everything that they could to protect me. And it was a moment that really transitioned my life. My voice was taken away from me at a very, very young age.
Really?
At a very young age. So
Jesus, I'm sorry to hear that. My God.
Yes, but the thing is, having my amazing parents right there by my side, helping me to pull all the pieces together, and just being a young girl at 6, 7 years old, and your life completely changed for the rest of your life by someone whom you trusted. All right.
Mm.
And then to find out that this was not just the first time, this was a pattern, and you were just one of the many victims that this
Wow.
person um, smile in your face, and all of that. And so I had to learn early on. I had a lot of trust issues. It damaged my self confidence very badly. Dealing with trust, having confidence, feeling low self worth,
Mm.
being that person that felt like even though we have a strong foundation with God, my parents always made sure that we had our roots strong with the kingdom. However, it was shaken for me in the aspect of my security and safety. I wanted to only be with my parents 24/7 because they were my protectors. They still are. Thank God they're still alive. However,
Yes.
it blocked me in a way because being the only child, I never wanted to be around other people because I was always afraid.
You were an
Afraid
only
of what
child
would
too?
yes, afraid of what would happen, right? And
Goodness.
so pretty much that was me in a nutshell. But I was always very inquisitive, being a young girl, very a girl that always wanted to help others.
Hmm.
Many people used to tell me growing up that I was wise beyond my years. I had a very old soul. And so I love being around older people. You will see that even down to the network, even down to a lot of my clients, they're much older than me. I
Hmm.
always had a connection with the older people because I have such high respect for older people. And of course, I respect the family arrangement and I adore my parents because, like I said, they were my knight in shining armor. Even in my darkest moment, they have always fought for me and they still do. And so, fast forward, many people don't know that at the age of about 25, 26, I had a stroke. And so,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
yeah.
whoa, wait, this is too much. Let's take this in bite sizes because I'm overwhelmed right now. Okay. Are y'all overwhelmed? Are y'all hearing this? Like, whoa, I did not know this about you. And I'm sure that those who are watching are really like in a state of shock right now. And it's
Mhm.
so unfortunate that there are millions of people who have gone through assault as a child and don't have the support that you had from your parents. A lot of times it's scenarios where people will be assaulted and the parents are the last ones to believe that this is actually what happened. And it could be because maybe the parents encountered something themselves that happened to them and their parents didn't believe, so it's kind of like a domino effect, a trickle effect that passes down from one generation or the next to the next because most of the time most people are not that blessed. They just don't have the support that you have had, and I'm just thanking God like right now that you had the support system of your parents. That's the most important for you being an only child and having to have gone through that as a kid. Now, how old were you when this took place? Through what
Um,
ages?
it came out when I was about 6 or 7, but that part is still a little vague because when you are a victim of sexual assault, you departmentalize your memory in such a way in order to be a survivor.
I
How can you
believe
still
it.
survive that, right?
You got
So
to push it back.
it came out around about 6 or 7, and I'm young, so I don't really know what's really going on. This is an
Right.
older person. This is a person that I was left with to babysit me while my parents went to work. My
My
parents did all the
God.
right things. They did
Hmm.
all the right thing. They left me with a trusted people that they didn't leave me just with a stranger. They everything was vetted. You would think that it would have been a safe haven, but it was not.
Mm.
And it was a complete shock when everything did come to fruition. And my main mechanism was to say I was afraid that once it came out that I was going to be alone and I lose my parents because they had nothing to do with it. Um, and I'm the only child, so I don't have brothers or sisters. I don't have aunties. I have aunties and uncles, but I'm just saying, where am I going to go? Because my
Right.
parents are my safe haven. So when it did come out, and I saw how furious and angry my parents were, they was like, I'm going to go get vengeance right now, and I'm begging and pleading with them, don't go to jail, that kind of stuff. It takes you from being an innocent young girl to now being more self-aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. And it just basically take away your innocence and your outlook on people, on life. And it helps you in a negative way develop these trust issues, these self-sabotaging behaviors that carry on throughout your life until you learn how to gather the tools in order to help heal yourself. And I would tell people like this: having a strong faith, having strong background with God is not enough. And I know most Christians will say,
Wow. Wow.
this is not right, but I'm telling you, some things you need to seek outside help. God is amazing. He is my fortress. He is my light. He is the reason why I am still here. He's the reason why I have the confidence and the courage at this point in my life to even speak about it without even crying, because he have gave me back my power. However, there are some things that you can't pray away. There are
Ooh,
some things
come
that you
on now.
cannot pray away.
That is
And
so true.
I had to learn that it's some things that you can't pray away, because Lord knows I prayed for this to go away, to hide the embarrassment, the shame that's attached, where a victim is feeling like it's their fault. And so I had to learn, and it did not, it took me a very, very long time. It took me all the way to my late 30s to even say it out loud, to
Wow.
what actually happened, when I
Jesus.
first spoke about it at a closed event, and everyone was shocked. And so,
And we're shocked, okay?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
this is not
because
something that you just looking at you and knowing a little something about your life on the outside and where you are now, it does not correlate that this is something that you had to go through. But you're not actually looking anything like what you've been through. And
Mhm,
that is a blessing. That is huge. So I'm grateful to hear that, you have dealt with it, even though it took you some time to deal with it. It took you some years. And I'm grateful that you're even sharing this, because there are many of us out here that believe that if we just keep on praying, if we just keep on believing, if we keep on trusting God, and that is one foundation, but we are spirit, we are mind, and we are body. So if we don't address all three areas of our life, then we won't have the ability to overcome the things that are deeply rooted, that, like you said, we don't want to tell anybody about. This happened in my life. So I'm grateful that you are opening up and sharing this with us today. Thank you so much. I know it takes a lot of courage to come out of that mindset, or even to go back into the memory of that mindset of what happened. And so that must have forced you to kind of grow up a little bit early,
mhm,
because even, I can't even imagine as a 6 or 7 year old child having to even consider that your parents might go to jail because of the situation that happened, and it's not your parents' fault, but this, the
mhm,
fear of you losing your parents and not being able to properly be protected as an only child. You don't have any other kids around you that are the same ages that you can really confide in, that's in your household every day. And I too grew up as an only child, but there were always kids around. But that's a different story. So if you grew up where you didn't really have anybody else to tell your story to, and then there could have been also the outlook from the outside looking in, people who really just kind of shun on what happened to you as a
mhm.
kid. Other kids may have, like, what was that experience like? Did you have an encounter with other children that kind of frowned upon what took place?
So what happened was, going back, I always have. I'm an only child, but my mom have multiple brothers and sisters, and they have children. So I was always around my cousins and stuff all the time. All the time. So it wasn't that I was alone. It's just something that you just don't talk about when you're playing with Barbie and Hot Wheels and hopscotch and
Yeah.
mud pies. That's just not
Yeah.
something that you bring up. And as a young person, to even try to understand what exactly is going on, because you
Oh.
are a child that has been thrust into an adult relationship situation
Mm.
that your body should not be experiencing at that time, that you don't even understand basically who you are, because you're a child. You're still developing social skills. You're still developing your perspective on what the world is and the people who are in the world with you. Who do you trust, right? Who do you have confidence in? And so it was very distorted, because the one whom we trusted is actually the enemy. And
Wow.
so you go into it thinking, okay, I'm a Christian. I'm doing all the right things. My mom and dad are doing all the right things. As a young person, I'm doing all that I can do with the information that I have. And you feel like how can I say it? You know that you can always rely on God. However, when something like this happens, you wonder, why did it happen to me? What did I do? What did
Yeah.
I do, right? And so all of those feelings resonated with me. And yes, many, if someone watching from my school right now, growing up, they don't even know about this. They don't even know about this.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so it was only one friend that I had, and I saw what happened to him. Had no idea when we was going to school that he was getting assaulted at the exact time that I was getting assaulted by trusted people.
Oh.
Yes, but see, I saw what happened to him because we were so close. He was just my best friend. And I had no idea what was going on with him, nor did he have an idea what was happening to me, because it's just something that you just don't talk about. But based on what I saw, what happened to him when it all came out, and it was in the newspapers in our small little town. And when he went to school, everybody's whispering and talking, the teachers, the faculty, the administration, the students are laughing and looking confused and all of these different things. And I saw what it did to him. And I saw how the world turns on the victim. And
Whoa.
I just made a mental note that I can't let this get out. I have to hide it. I don't want this to ever get out, because I don't want people talking about my family, because this was not my parents, my mother or my father. This was an unfortunate individual that we thought was a safe place. And I did not want that. I did not want that. And then I had to deal with abandonment, because once it got out, it got so bad for my friend that he had to go into protective custody. And they literally changed his name. He had to move out of the country and change his name and started a whole new identity. And based upon that, we have not spoke since. Because once you get into protective custody and your name is changed and everything, you have to completely let go of everyone from your past. Jeez, and so in order for him to heal and get his peace, it had to be without me. And so that's why I had such a fear of it coming out and losing my parents, because I saw how it just ripped up my friend's family. And I did not want to be, I wanted to be helped. I wanted to stop, but I did not want to be displaced from my amazing parents. And I want people to know that some people that do know about the situation, my mother, my father had nothing to do with this. They were only the ones, once they found out, that protected me. And it made a rift with them, because they felt like they failed me. because they didn't
Really?
know. And so I say this, when someone is a victim and there is a child that's involved, and no one knows, right? It's not the parents' fault because my parents didn't know. It wasn't
Mhm.
my fault because I was too young. My voice was taken
Right.
away from me. And so, but I tell you one thing, when my mom and dad found out, they went to war, honey.
I believe it.
Okay. They
I
went to
believe it.
war. And so I'm totally blessed to have parents that when they did find out, they did something about it. And most victims don't have that.
They
And
really don't.
so I did pray to God for me to always be with my parents, and He have answered that prayer all the way into adulthood. But hindsight, growing up, a lot of my decisions and how I handle relationships have been affected by that incident that happened when I was a young girl. My voice was taken, and that's why podcasting is so important to me. And that's why I like to work with people who have been mishandled, misplaced, and misunderstood, to allow them to take power over their voice and ownership over their voice and create their own narrative. Because many times people create the story that they want us to be, but really, who are you? And podcasting gave me that medium to share my true self and be who I am. And God allowed me to open that up for other people. So podcasting is not just podcasting for me. Podcasting is something that has totally released me from the pain that I went through, that I was able to turn it into purpose and be able to extend it to help people that are like me. Because
Wow,
I
wow,
see them.
wow. Wow, that is so powerful, Dr. Tina. So we went from childhood assault into really this helped to shape your dreams to today. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So let's
yeah.
talk a little bit about what were your dreams? Do you remember having any dreams before the assault of what you wanted to be as a kid?
Of course. So I always wanted to be a teacher because I love teaching. And so,
Teaching.
yeah, so I wanted to be a teacher. I was always the teacher's pet, always the student of the week or something, helping out the teacher. I was that girl because I love, like I said, being around older people. So therefore, I had more knowledge than the average young person because they deemed me the holder of the stories. Okay, so I
Okay.
will go and I will play a little bit with the children. Then I would go to the older people homes and I would ask them, how was it? I read in a book that this happened with slavery. I read in a book that this happened during the John Crow era. Did you live through? Did you live through? And so I would just ask them questions, and I never even thought about that. That was like podcasting back in the day.
That was
And,
podcasting. In
yeah,
case y'all don't know, she is the podcast queen and the TV show host queen. I'm trying to tell you. So that's what she's doing today. And you see how everything as an entrepreneur we talk about all the time. Whoever you are, whatever your gifts, skills, and talents are, they were in you from the beginning. And we are seeing this right before our eyes right here today. That's amazing. So you were telling stories, you were around the elderly, and I too grew up as the only child around a lot of elderly, my grandmother's family and all the different elders that we would go and visit. And so I'm familiar with the storytelling. I love that. That is
mhm.
so huge. And that really is podcasting in a nutshell. That's
I
a
never
whole
really thought about it.
TV show.
Yeah, like like so I would go and ask them all those questions, laugh and talk and eat. And now I'm all, like I said, I'm very inquisitive. So I like to learn. I love history, but not history that's in the history books per se. I read them, but not like that. I love the history told by the first person narrative, the
I
autobiography
love it.
before it's in a book, the biography before it hit the book. I like to eat, sleep, breathe, and
Wow.
experience the people's stories real time out of their own mouth. And
Love
so all my
it.
life, that's pretty much how I've been ever since I was a very young girl. And I also understood at a young age that teachers are super powerful. powerful in the way that you can shape the world, powerful in the way that you
Yes.
can change someone's life, powerful in the way that you can take your painful story and turn it into a beautiful butterfly that will be
Wow.
able to release someone else from their pain, their struggle, and their burden through you having the courage to share. And so teaching helped me so much, but I wasn't just a teacher. I wanted to be a person who make an impact. So I decided to help children with special needs because I always wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. So
Okay.
therefore, I went to school and became early childhood development. Then I love psychology and sociology, how the world works with people and how the
Mhm.
brain and mind works. And that eventually grew to I started working in the North Carolina public school system as a behavior
Oh.
specialist, helping children work through their behavior issues that more than likely stem from abandonment issues. It stemmed from sexual assault. It stemmed from them just not broken homes. And I was able to really make a big difference at a huge difference with God's help because I was them and they were me. I understood the pain. I understood the hurt. I understood why some children act out because they don't know any other mechanism but to act out because they don't know how to communicate. This has happened or this is happening to me. All right.
Whoa,
And
whoa,
so,
whoa. Give me one
yeah.
second. Give me 1 second. So I'm trying to follow along. So you went through this assault. Then
Mm-hmm.
your original dream as a kid was to be a teacher, and you saw the value and the need for education and how that could change the world. You told your stories through family, elderly that you would go and visit, and asking questions, getting the history from the original elder. And then you went into from like teenagehood into like your 20s. Is that what you're saying? You went
Mm-hmm.
into teaching children,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Went
Oh
from
my
teaching
God.
children.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just like blown away. Okay, so you went into teaching children, and this was, and you were in the job in the workforce, and
Mm-hmm.
and then what happened? Tell us more about this going into your adulthood, and not really being able to express what happened to you, but being able to recognize it with these kids. That's
Well,
amazing.
Well, for me, it was two parts. Okay, I went into the workforce and I became the behavior specialist, helping with identifying the behavior, why is it happening, and also coming up with a call to action and a solution action plan. Not just working
Really?
with them, yes, not only working with them at the school, but also working with them inside their home. So
Whoa.
I was like an extension of their family. All of my clients
Yes.
in essence became my extended family. I mean, it just really was a really beautiful relationship with all of my clients. But at the exact same time that I was doing that, I was also in the ministry work, volunteering over 120 hours a month, teaching people about the Bible. So I was in ministry school, helping people
What?
on the spirit. So yes, at the exact same time, I was in the school, secular, and I also was doing spiritual and just finished completing ministry school at that point. Most people don't know I went to ministry school, right?
You went to ministry school? Come
Yes, and
on now. I know y'all didn't know that out there. Come on. Wow,
yes,
wow, wow.
but the both worlds connected because having a strong faith foundation that my
Mhm.
parents built and instilled in me, it wasn't that I just because this happened, I erased everything from God. It actually drew me closer to Him, and it actually opened up different things for me to be able to cope because having that strong spiritual foundation, even though I didn't have all the tools at the time to be able to fix everything, um, God helped me be able to still be able to smile, still be able to put one foot in front of the
Oh,
other and extend myself to not waddle in self pity, but take what I could do from a mental standpoint and use that to help other people. And that's why I went into the secular to help, and I help with behavior because 9 times out of 10, when a child has been sexually assaulted or dealing with abandonment issues or a very dysfunctional family, they're going to do one or two things. They're going to act out and become what they call the problem child, or they are going to be very recluse. They're going to go within and not be social. They're going to be all within to themselves, which both are not good situations. And so, being that I had this prior experience, I could identify them. I could tap in because I knew what it felt like to be voiceless. I knew what it felt like to be displaced. I knew what it felt like. And so I think in a way, God allowed me to go through that in order so I can help other people, because I had a sensitivity to it, because I can identify it because it's like a mirror. And so it helped me with everything that I do. And it helped me with consulting people today. Like that same thing helped me with consulting, helped me with podcasting, it helped me with television, it helped me with teaching. But my core is I wanted to be a teacher. And that's what I did. And then I gradually transitioned to other little places within the industry. But at the end of the day, it gradually brought me right back to teaching.
Okay.
but teaching in a different way, because I only looked at teaching in a linear way for the public school. I never looked at teaching outside, dealing with homeschooling, teaching parents and students. I never looked at it as teaching entrepreneurs. I never looked at it teaching content creators how to start a podcast, TV show, I never looked at those avenues as teaching, but in essence, that's exactly what it is. I'm just like understanding that I never changed from that first love. It just expanded.
That's huge. That's so huge. So let me just go back just a second. So I want us to think about, if we have children who are experiencing some of the things that Dr. Tina just said, let's pay attention to our kids, y'all. Let's pay attention to the kid that is the problematic child. I experienced this myself as a parent. I found out that my daughter was being, assaulted, we'll use that word, by a teacher, a substitute teacher at her school in middle school. So I want us to really just pay attention to what Dr. Tina just said about the problematic child, and also the child that kind of turns everything within. They're quiet. They don't really cause any problems, but they always are by themselves. They don't really want to play around other kids. They don't want to be with anybody. They are loners. Pay attention. Start asking open-ended questions. Spend time with your kid and find out what's really going on inside, because it's always something. I'm telling you, it's always something that we are missing as it relates to our kids, and we're so busy with our work, with our businesses, or whatever it is that we're doing, that we tend to usually miss that until they grow up older and they go back and tell you. Sometimes they won't tell you anything. Sometimes you'll find out by default, maybe like this video, but we want to make sure that you are paying attention to your kid. Now, the second thing that I want to say for you guys out there that don't know, Dr. Tina J. Ramsay doesn't also only have CTR Media Network, but she is the owner of CTR Homeschooling. For those of you who did not know, she's already in education. So we're looking at that storyline of how she was when she was a kid growing up, and this was a part of her natural dream. So as an entrepreneur, look at the things that you love. What are the things that bring you joy, that make you smile, that you would do for free? Usually 9 times out of 10, it is something that you should be doing right now to make money. It's something that you could be doing for free that you could turn into a whole company. And you could be spending the rest of your life at ease, not even feeling like you're working. Because I'm sure that's how you feel, Dr. Tina, like you're not even doing no work right now.
Yes.
All right. So you became a young adult and you went
Mm-hmm.
into education.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any significant relationships along the way? We already know you married. So when did you meet your significant other, your hubby wubby?
I met my husband in middle school. He
What?
was 12 and
Wait,
I was
wait, wait.
11. Yeah.
Wait. Your whole life was already built before you
Yeah.
even became an adult.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. I met him. Actually, my husband is originally from Panama. He is Panamanian. And
Oh my
at that
God.
time, his mother came down. His mother and himself came down to his aunt that lived in our town that also went to our same congregation. Um, and he came down shy, real shy. Curtis is a real laid back guy and very quiet because keep in mind he was just his mother and father was just going through a divorce, and so he was the
Oh, okay.
baby, and that's why they end up coming down here. And so you remember when I told you about those two behaviors is either going to be they're going to be a problematic child, they're going to be more reserved, more within. Well, Curtis was that child that was more within, and I could
Oh.
identify the quietness that happened with him, that something happened. I know that he didn't get assaulted like I did, but he was dealing with the the divide of being a mother father household to now being a single parent household and
Ah,
moving from
yes.
Panama all the way down to South Carolina to a
But
place that
even think.
a whole culture shock. You know, he's used to white
Yes.
sandy beaches. He's used to being able to pick fruit off trees and just eat, and like it's just a whole different atmosphere to come down, and
Yes.
it's just a whole different situation. And so when I saw him at
Wow.
middle school, I knew something was different. I didn't know him personally at the time, but it was just something about him that was different. And later on, we start crossing paths a little bit more. Then the next thing I know, I ended up going to a congregation meeting, and he was there, and I was like, and he looked at me, and then I looked at him. He looked at me, and then I looked at him. And I was like,
Okay, R.
oh.
Kelly.
I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You kind of crude.
All
And so then but we were just friends though in the beginning, just totally 1000% friends. I would talk to him about my problems. He would talk to me about his problems. He was
right.
just a complete gentleman. He would carry my books to class. Everybody thought that we was dating at the time, but we weren't. We were just friends. And his mother raised a really great son. Like he's very attentive. He's very, the alpha male, right? He
Okay.
is that he is that guy, but he's very tender on certain things
You
too.
know,
So
big
he's not
old
like,
teddy bear inside.
yeah, he's not like domineering and mean and stuff like that, but he do know how to put his foot down when necessary. I would say that. But but I would say this, we end up growing up together. So we went through puberty together. And then
Dang.
as we got grown, we're not grown. High school, unfortunately, well, let me not skip a part. My mom and his mom eventually became best friends.
Oh
Isn't that
my
something?
God.
Yes. So my mom and his mom eventually became best friends. Not too long after that, unfortunately, his mama passed away from a seizure.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
And
that.
so
So now
like,
he's not with his dad and he's not with his mom,
and
but
he's getting raised by
you
his
guys
great
are
aunt.
becoming besties.
Closer and closer. And his mother loved me. She would just say this. She asked my mom, like, can I just adopt her? I had can I just adopt her? Like, this is my daughter, because she had all
Oh,
boys. She had all boys, and
yeah.
so she used to
Okay.
spoil me rotten, right? So I would say, I think about if she was alive today, boy, I would have had the best mother-in-law ever, because she
Yes.
was just amazing, right? And so fast forwarding to now, it's about time for us to graduate high school. All the things change dramatically, having to make life decisions. And it took a trip that wasn't my husband then, but my friend then, when his mother passed away, and his older brothers came and took him away to Atlanta. my heart was oh girl, I was just
Oh my
pitiful. And I didn't
God.
realize how much I loved him until that moment. I didn't
Oh,
realize that it crossed over from like a friendship to I really want to be with this man for the rest of my
right.
life. And so
Oh, that is so
and
cute.
he felt it too. And so he had all these opportunities in Atlanta, and he came back to a town with 27% unemployment rate, really not too much of anything for a young person to really thrive, to come back for love. And we've been together ever since. We've been together.
Oh, no,
So we're
Curtis.
going on, I think, like about 23, 24 years married and 26. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So
Yes, yes,
um,
yes. I love this relationship chick. Hello. Oh my God.
yeah,
I cannot imagine growing up with somebody and then still be with them at the end later on and then for the rest of your life. Like that is just the perfect match right there. God definitely ordained that. Okay.
he did. He did. He gave me some. He gave me he's like a rap. He is a mixture of my mom and my dad. And my mom and dad are such great people. They love me. They're protectors. Uh, they he is them. Both of them. Like he has
Wow.
always been there, like a protector, a love, all the things. And so sometimes he say certain things. I'm like, man, that remind me of my mom. Sometimes he'll say a certain or
Wow.
do something, and I'm like, that remind me of my dad. And so God really gave me what I needed because he
Yes.
knew what I went through. He knew what happened to me, and he knew in a mate, I needed that security. I needed that person that
Absolutely.
will be able to see me, not
Mm.
judge me, and work with me through things, because it's going to be some things that are triggering to me, but you need someone that can be nourishing as well. And so Curtis is a beautiful blend of my mom and my dad and his mom, which was an amazing person before she passed away. So I
Oh,
thank God that he always been having some powerful people in my life, even when I didn't feel so powerful.
oh my goodness. That is such an amazing story. I mean, wow, wow, wow. God really does love you, honey. He loves you and he is blessing your life tremendously. So then the children came along. How soon
Mhm.
after y'all got together and got married?
Yeah, about 3 years. We was
3 years.
newlyweds for like 3 years, and then on our third year anniversary, FYI, I know sometimes you give them, no, TMI. That's what the young people say. TMI, too much information. But I'm finna give you a little bit of information. I, my daughter be like, "Mom, TMI," but literally on our third year anniversary, on December the 15th, I was regurgitating in the sink, and I was like, I'm so like, what did I eat? Like, I remember eating some salmon, and I ate some asparagus, and I ate this. I'm like, but usually it don't do me like that. Certain smells was just getting on my nerve. I'm like, oh, why you got on that? Because he used to love to wear Obsession cologne, right? And I
Oh,
was
I
like,
remember that cologne. That really did
yes,
smell
honey.
good, girl.
Yeah, and I was like, ew, it smells stink. He was like, you love this. And CK1, you love this. I'm like, ugh. And
You
so
didn't like it all of a sudden.
dislike, they didn't know I was pregnant until they told and then I was pregnant with the little boo-boo, my daughter.
Oh,
And then about 18 months later, my son came.
oh my
And
God. So you
yeah,
got a girl and a boy.
a girl and a boy.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's what I'm
Yep.
talking about. So tell us a little bit about, like, I know you were saying like Curtis came back to you in a town where the unemployment was, challenging, to get a job and to be able to supply the needs of the family. And I don't know, were you still working as a teacher or how did that go?
That was in the beginning phases, like right after we graduated high school. And yes, I did. I was working. However, and I was in the ministry work as well. So it was kind of, it was bittersweet because I felt like I was pulling him from the remaining people in his family, his
Oh.
brothers, which he didn't spend as much time with. But I love his brothers. His brothers love me. They were like, okay, if you're gonna come back, that is a good reason. I do like her, you know. And so just yes, to your question, and then it just fast forward to the children. It fast forward to eventually Curtis being the first one to start the entrepreneurship journey. I was not for entrepreneurship.
Really?
I was dead against it. Anytime he tried to start a business, I will be the one to stop him. I will be the one to be his biggest naysayer. I was the dream crusher. Yes, one thing you're gonna get from me, I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, my story is not all peaches and cream. And I was that person. My husband always had aspirations and dreams of something better. And I was happy and felt secure with what the structure was. You go to school, you work, you get a job, you work 30, 40, 50 years, you retire, get your little 401k. You buy you a little house with a little picket fence. By the time you get about 60, 65, it's paid for, you retire, and that is the end of that. Well, his vision of what our life should be was that not only we work in order to get towards our dream and use that job to fund the dream until we're able to allow that dream to become our life. Wow. I personally did not get that. He saw so much in me and talent and different things that I was due because I used to sing and dance and act and all this stuff. And he was like, you can do this. I'm like, nope, that is no security. Remember now, going all the way back to my beginning, security is a big thing to me.
That's right.
Being secure is a big thing to me.
Okay,
and
that
so
makes sense.
It took me, my husband getting offered, he was teaching and he got a position to be, to speak on stage at this big old PowerCon event. And it was dealing with cryptocurrency. It was dealing with internet, online, all that. And Curtis was a standout person. And this big mega person brought Curtis in, brought us, because I was scared to fly, FYI. So so the man wanted to fly us in, but I was like, I don't trust no plane. I don't trust no plane. Put me on the road. And so what he did, he purchased us a car for the entire week. I mean, I came up with all kinds of excuses for why Curtis couldn't go and all this other stuff like that. And everything that I said, that man said, okay, well, you don't want to get on the plane and your husband really wants you and the family to come. He was like, okay, we'll rent your car. Whatever car vehicle y'all want for the week, we'll pay for it. Okay, we're gonna pay for the hotel room in the top elite hotel rooms. We're gonna do all of this different stuff, right? And which they did do it. And that was the first time that I was in a room with a lot of people that looked like me, that was living the life that I only saw on television.
Whoa. I know that was an experience.
That one thing shifted my mind because I was actually homeschooling my children at the time. That shifted my mind that I saw something different. And even though my husband was telling me that all the time,
all along,
and he was trying different businesses over the years, but that moment, it clicked. And from that point on, I formed my first business dealing with education, which was homeschooling back in the day.
Wow.
We used to call it homeschooling. Back in the day, we used to call it homeschooling in oils. However, it's CTR homeschooling now. Mm-hmm. And here we are from education with over 30 plus years in education to now having a whole media company, and the rest is history. So your environment is crucial to you changing the narrative in your life. You have to be in the environment. It's one thing to watch it online, but to be in a building with people who look like you, that you thought that all Black people is poor. Or all Black people are going to struggle. And then you go in a room where you see an entire room of regular looking people of color, beautiful melanated, all different hues, from light skin and brown, light color eyes, to dark skin with black and brown eyes. I mean, you're seeing all the beautifulness of melanated skin and essence, from African dashikis to the most modern dress thing. You see all this
Whoa.
diversity within your own race, and you see that they are not struggling. They're speaking a language, they're talking words and saying things in conversations that you have never heard. And you're just sitting there in awe, because all your life, only thing I saw growing up in my small town was poverty, was lack.
Ooh,
And so
yeah.
remember, I came from a town that was one of the highest on the unemployment rate. So
Oh my God.
I'm in this room and I'm like, oh my God. So you mean I can start my own, I can do, dude, really? And
What?
went into that business school. And then I went in and I just started building out what I was already doing, but I had no structure. I had no foundation on what it was to do a business, and doing what I do. And eventually, it came to the point where eventually I met you, and you, girl, you fixed up what was messed up. But that's a whole different live. We can do another part
Yeah,
two.
yeah. I just want to touch
But
on it a little bit. So let's go back. So we're following the timeline. So you're
mhm,
working, you are
mhm,
not on board with entrepreneurship. That's so shocking. And I
mm-mm.
know that there are thousands upon thousands of people watching that are like, mouth are hanging open, that know you. And like, wait a
I
minute,
was
how did
against
she
it.
not even be on board with being a business owner? But
Mm-mm.
look at her life right now. So that is so important to say, to share with everyone, that your exposure matters wherever
Mhm.
you are, whatever it is that you're doing, however it is that you're thinking. There is a whole world out there beyond your community. There is a whole
Mhm.
world out there beyond the group of people that your friends, your family, your cousins, your coworkers, whoever they are. There is a different world out there completely. Speaking of the show, which I know you told me before that that's one of your favorite shows. So you literally got a chance to experience a whole different world, and that catapulted you to your next level, having no idea that that was going to be something that you would start doing. That is so good. Oh my God, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Where are they now? Oh my goodness. So we came from that era, and then you started the business of homeschooling. And what
Mhm.
led you into CTR Media? How did
Well,
you
what
get
led
into that?
what led me into CTR Media is actually I became a client of a company because I needed help with building out a website. Because although I had all the knowledge and the expertise dealing with what I knew how to do, which was education, homeschooling, and helping people with special needs, because my son has autism. He's a
Oh,
neurodivergent. And
didn't know
so
that.
I not only have the book knowledge, but I have the real life experience. So I want to talk about the things and help parents on the things that they felt embarrassed, ashamed of, because it is a big shame when you have a child that is considered to be different. What did
Yeah.
I do wrong? Why did this child have autism versus this child's not? Because keep in mind, I never told you guys this, but I have two children that are totally different. My daughter is gifted and talented in the top 4% of the smartest children within our county. And then I have my son, who is, now they say, back in the day we say high functional autistic, but now we say neurodivergent. And so I'm dealing with both ends of the spectrum and fighting to get the things for my son that I see that is readily available for my daughter. And
Right.
so I'm fighting against two different worlds, because I understand the nuances, because I was a part of the system working for the schools, and making sure that my child do not become a statistic. So whatever it is that he can do, helping him to be able to do it, even though we may have to do it a different way, and also helping parents to drop the shame of feeling like you're a failure because your child has ADD, ADHD, autism, bipolar, feeling
Woo!
isolated. Feeling
Wow.
isolated, because it's very isolating having a child that is considered to be different from everyone. And they
Yes.
always attack the parent
Yes.
parenting. They say it's something wrong. But the reason why your child doing this is because you're not a good parent. You need to put your foot
Mhm.
down. You did it. And so it's going back to what happened. It is just another form of abuse. And so I came into this arena of education and bringing to the homeschooling area, giving people the confidence and also being so transparent with my journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that
Mhm.
it will help them to understand that it's normal to feel like this. It's
Wow.
normal to go through this. But hey, guess what? I understand the law of dealing with this. And this is what you do to change it.
Oh
Okay,
my
because I had to go
goodness.
through it. And so it basically, and then from there, with that, I realized that so many people tell me, man, I wish I would have been known about this. And I realized then, okay, I got to stop just being in this little small little pond. I need to branch out. How do I do that with limited resources? And even though I have a big name over here, but I have nothing over here. So how do I transition that? And God gave me media, the power of media. Started a podcast, started a TV show later on, started writing books, started speaking on stages, started getting featured in magazines and stuff like that. And then I started realizing that you can have the most amazing product or service that ever existed and really change people's lives. But if no one knows that you're not Googleable, you don't exist. And so I had to take what I learned and adapt it over into the media. And then I said, I looked at all the amazing things that people were doing, but yet maybe a few people knew about them. And
Mhm.
so that is what happened and why it merged both worlds, the media side, where they could, one,
Wow.
control their story, number two, get their
Share their
message out
story.
and share it. And so that's how the media side came up, because I was in a search of how to get this information out so other parents won't have to go through what I went through and be able to
Mhm.
get to the other side quicker. And so that's how the media side started. And then God just blew it all the way up, like past my wildest dreams and expectations for that matter. And so it ended up becoming like this microcosm where everyone's like, whoa, I see what you did. I'm like, no, not what I did, what God did. Let's keep it
Right.
straight.
Right.
Okay. And so that's basically how the media side came about, because I was in haste of trying to figure out how to get this information to more people.
Yes.
And that's how the media side came out. And then I realized that entrepreneurs, not as well as homeschoolers, as pretty much anybody that had anything to say, needed to understand the nuances and to use the power of media to do it. And I just choose
Okay.
to use podcasting and TV as one of my main mediums. But yeah, so that's pretty much how the media side came about.
So you were already in business when we met. You
Mm-hmm.
had CTR homeschooling, which was going by a different name at the time, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
then you had already started CTR Media Network. And then I had a event in 2023 where I needed a person to do interviews and to cover the media of the event. And one of my students, Miss Donna Young, shout out to Donna. Hey
Hey,
girl, you
Donna.
was
Hey,
my
girl. Hey.
auntie. Okay. She came and told me that I needed to connect with you if I'm looking for a media person. So I called you up and we immediately connected. And then it was just like, okay, you decided to come to the show. You did the interviewing, all of that. Everything was beautiful, lovely. Thank you so much for that. I am so appreciative, even from that first phone call, of how we just opened up to one another. It was just so beautiful. God really was ordaining that as well. And then you decided to come to KBBU, the actual university. So tell us a little bit about the journey of coming to KBBU.
Well, at the time when I came to KBBU, I had amazing, amazing, amazing mentors and coaches. I'm just gonna give a shout out to just one, so the rest of y'all don't get mad, but I'm just saying. And shout out to Sheree Moore. Because she really helped me a lot in the trenches of it all, especially with the whole rebranding of CTR Media Network, the rebranding of my homeschool brand. And she really was instrumental in helping me create it in a way that really represented what we were doing, because my brand wasn't matching what we were doing. The
Okay.
power, the what we really, it didn't stand out. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. And she has an eye for that type of stuff. And so she literally, I remember the day because she worked with me nonstop for about 18 months, teaching me
Whoa, that's a
various
long
different things.
time.
Yeah, she actually stopped her business in order to help me. She was
Wait,
coaching me. Yeah, she stopped her
what?
business.
Go
She paused.
Sheree!
Yeah, she paused her business for 18 months, and because she said, shout out to her beautiful grandmother. She's no longer here with us, but she was very instrumental in this, and I want to give those flowers right now publicly, because it was because of her that Sheree actually took me up under her wing, so much so because her grandmother, before she passed away, said, help her. And
What?
so, yeah, yes. And I had the honor and the privilege to speak to her mother, because I actually hosted the She Trucking like pre-show to her amazing event that she had. And her grandmother, which was 90 something plus years old at the time, saw it, and she was like, I want more episodes. Because I did a 5-day like show straight, like 5 days, interviewing all the different people from her event that was going to be at the event. It was the pre-show leading into the big event that she did in Tennessee,
Okay.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so what happened was, after she watched it, she was so impressed by me. And she was like, is she coming to the event? And I wasn't coming to the event, but I was just doing the virtual side of it. And she said, this young lady is going places.
What?
Like, she is going to be as big as all these people that's on television. And I didn't see it at that time. What she didn't know, yes, what she didn't know was that I was planning on quitting podcasting. I was in season 6. I was planning on quitting and walking away from it all. And Sheree called me because her grandmama wanted to talk to me. And never met her, never talked to her in my life. And she started saying some things to me that I know that only God could have told her. And I started crying. And she said, you got to promise me that you will not quit.
What?
No. And she would not she would not allow me to get off the phone until I said I will not stop. And so based upon that, Sheree then, after her grandmother passed away, she took me up on the wing, like I said, for 18 months. She stopped her She Trucking brand and 1000% focused everything CTR Media Network, teaching me night and day to what I wanted. I'm explaining her what I wanted, and she just helping me with everything, right? Yes. And then it gradually went on. It gradually grew, and she said these words to me, and my heart dropped. She said, I have taken you as far as I can take you. I have given all that I can give. I have done all that I can do. And my heart dropped, because I'm like, what am I going to do? And then at that moment, I got the call from Donna about you. What? And then you hired me to hire our company to come in and do the interviewing. And from there, I was looking for another place to go, right? And every place that I invested in, every place that I did, it was just not right. And you told my husband and I, we could stay and listen. So we listened. And you said some things that resonated with us so much that my husband and I looked at each other and said, this is it. This is it. This is different. And from there, I went from you hiring me, our company for your media, to now investing in your company to help me with taking CTR, pick up from where Sheree left off, and literally took me to a whole different stratosphere with God's help. Like,
Listen, I can't even take no credit for none of that.
yes,
But
yes.
shout out
Well,
to
God used
Sheree.
you.
I just want to say shout out to Sheree too, because it really takes a really good mentor to say this is as far as I can take you. So shout out to you, girl. And I know
Mm-mm,
Sheree too, because we work together as well through you.
mm-hmm,
So that has been an amazing experience. And I think that
mm-hmm,
that is so huge that leaders out here, we need to be honest with ourselves about what we can and cannot do for people, not to just continue to drag them along just because we know that we could help them up to a certain point. But if it's something that we know that we're not good at, or something that we know that we cannot do any further, just to be able to say, hey, look, this is it, this is all I can offer, let me go and talk to let you get it from someplace else, or refer you out to someone who can help you. That's the way it's supposed to be, y'all. Especially as entrepreneurs, we got to help each other and keep each other in business. Really, we really
mm-hmm.
do, because we are each other's help. And I think that's so huge for her to say and do. And then we just met each other and things connected. So you came to the KBBU undergraduate class. Tell us a little
Mm-hmm.
bit about your first experience in class as an undergrad.
Absolutely culture shock. Like I have been to many business schools, classes. I mean, I'm a person that thirsts for knowledge. So you always find me using a class or certification class, something. And
Yes.
I thought I have seen it all, experienced it all, but honey, KBBU has been that thing that has helped me not just on a business level, but a personal and spiritual level as well. Because
Oh,
KBBU is not just entrepreneurship, it is really getting to the core of who you are. And let's just say it's getting to your identity.
yes, it
Whether
is.
things that you may not want to address, you're going to have to address it. And it's like taking down the wall. It is like taking the layers off, all the facades, all the different things, all the masking that we do in order to call
Oh,
ourselves to be
yes.
presentable to the public. What KBBU does is rip all that to pieces. I'm
Dang.
for real. I mean,
Dang.
no. It rips it to pieces in the fact that you get to the nitty gritty, you get to the core, and then it strategically, when you work the system, it strategically builds you up better than you have ever been before, because now you don't have just information, you have knowledge, you have insight, you have know-how, you have structure, you have foundation, you have support, and you are leaning where you're supposed to lean, on God's kingdom. You're leaning on God,
Yes.
right? And so it is something that is KBBU completely strips you naked. I mean, you're gonna get it. You're gonna be crying. You're gonna be mad. All kind of stuff. And them tests, hunty, them tests, child, make you just
Woo.
crawl up in the fetal position, because it ain't easy. Um, but but at the end of the day, you are, if you work, and I say if because I tell people who become a podcast on the network, if you do all the things that I am instructing and the team are instructing you to do, you will see, and you will see growth. Growth is tentative, different for each person, but you will see growth. And I say that with KBBU. If you work the system, the process, the way that is outlined with the KBBU curriculum, you will see growth. You
Yes.
will be able to have those breakthroughs, those level up. You will start to understand how your words are. You will start to get, you think your business, because I came in with a business already with clients, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
when I came to KBBU, so I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna come in here and do a little thing right here, a little thing right there, and I'm, bada boom, bada bang, I'm gonna be done with this thing. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pass this test. I'm gonna be the best student ever. And Hunty, it took me on some stuff. I was like, oh, Jesus. And so, so I would say this. KBBU is more than just a university. It is indeed a family, and it is indeed something that's going to help you on a level that you have never been on before. It's going to push your mindset to something that you never thought it could go. It's going to challenge you in a way that is going to make you better, but you have to stay in it to win it. You cannot allow, when all these things start coming at you, to cease movement, to cease doing the things, because that's when you don't see the results. That's when immobility is a snare. You have to keep moving. And so despite what was going on in my personal life, business life, or whatever, I kept moving. And due to that, God blessed my efforts, and my business expanded and grew to the level that Sheree had already said I was. I became what she said I was when she was coaching me for those 18 months that I couldn't see. And she was, and it came true with KBBU, because she literally said I did everything that she asked me to do, and I did it 1000% great. But then I used that discipline that she gave me, brought it over to KBBU, because I always was self-disciplined anyway. But KBBU just took it to a whole different level. And then we get the amazing KB Michelle Green. And, it's just, I can't explain. It's something that you're going to have to experience. So I tell entrepreneurs, I tell business owners, if you already have a business, you still need to be in KBBU. I don't care if you make 6 figures, 7 figures, you still need KBBU. And if you are a new person that just starting out, you most definitely need KBBU. What happened to me is that I already had an operating, running, functional business with paying clients all the time. However, I didn't know what I was missing. And what KBBU did was went through everything that I do, my business, finances, all that stuff, and found out the missing pieces, the holes that I did not know that existed in my business, tightened it up, wrapped it up in a bow, and made my business grantable and fundable and all this other kind of amazing stuff. And I'm just saying, like, there is no option. As long as KBBU is here, Dr. Tim J. Ramsay, with God's help, if that's what he want me to do, that is, I got to have this, because I got to have it, because you need that accountability, and you need to be in the environment of success. Remember, in my past, I was in an environment that was poverty stricken, the community where I grew up at. And so what did I have? A mindset of lack, poverty, no dreaming. But when my husband's opportunity took us out of the environment, and I was placed, my children and my husband was placed in this new environment, because mind you, my husband has already been all over the world, travel, because he's a military child. So he's seen the world. So he knew that it was more to this world than what my little small radius had. So that's why he saw the world different. That's why he had so many dreams and aspirations, because he saw it, he experienced it, and I haven't. I didn't, until that day when I finally let go and went to that, when my husband was speaking on stage, and saw people that looked like me, and they had the life that I thought that was only for the Huxtables, that was a fictional character on the television. I'm like, wait a minute, there really is some Whitley Gilberts up in here? Because, A Different World is my favorite show, y'all. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's some living single up in here. Khadijah and them running their own magazine. You mean to tell me there's some Maxes up in here, some Lloyd? I'm like, And so change my environment, and my life has never been the same. Because now I know. And so I tell people, get your butt in KBBU now. I know she ain't expect this, but I'm finna give a shameless plug. Get up in KBBU.
Oh my God.
Because
I was not expecting that.
All jokes aside, it is it's a lot of business classes, coaches, schools, and yada, yada, yada. I can go down the list, and not trying to discredit or make anybody else or talking about other businesses. I'm just saying, from my personal experience, this has been the best investment that I have made in regards to career development, that I have seen amazing results, and that transcended into all my areas of my life. Most of the time you invest in stuff that is only linear, it's for that one thing. But being a part of the school, and then also having the opportunity to eventually graduate, go to the VIP, the next class, and then eventually get offered the opportunity to be able to do what my first love is teach and teach entrepreneurs what media and marketing, from whom KBBU. I don't teach that for nobody else other than CTR Media Network. I locked that thing down. Okay. And God was like, you got to come over here and do that over here. And so it has been a great partnership. It has been a great
Yes,
experience. And I'm doing what I have always done, but I'm just
that's
doing it
right.
over here. And so, and I'm a student and a teacher. I love it because I'm constantly learning. There is no one class that is the same.
No.
You will see once you get here. Like, you think, oh, we're getting ready to start over another semester going over these topics. And it's always a different spin on it. So you're always going to get something new, something that you haven't thought of before. And you're going to have to understand that the reason why it stays so new, because it's directed by the kingdom of God, but also it is because you're going to be in a different place every single semester. And so
Yes,
being that you're in a different place, you're going to see it and experience it in a different way, because you're not the same person from the last semester. And
that's
so,
right.
anyway, that is all that I have to say about it.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I am so excited to have you a part of the KBBU family. And yes, you did graduate from the undergrad. We have a VIP master's class that our students that have gone through undergrad to get their bachelor's certification can extend their education into a master's certification. And she took the master's and at the same time came in through to start teaching the undergrads. So we have her as the marketing and media coach at KBBU. Yes, yes, yes. We are so thankful that you are here with us. And it is such an amazing thing to watch you grow from the time we first met each other to where you are today. A six going on seven-figure income earner, and with billions of people watching your network. I'm trying to tell you, this has been an amazing journey. And I'm so thankful for your friendship and thankful for everything that you have brought to the table. It has been a blessing, a huge blessing, Dr. Tina. Well, there you have it. Now, is there anything left that you would like to say to the entrepreneurs that are out there, to the individual that is just really experiencing their life journey so that their story can be told? What is it that you would want to share, and how is it that you would want to leave your last words with everyone today?
My last word is reclaim your power. If you was a
Ooh.
child or person that has been assaulted sexually, and it don't have to always be sexual, it can be mental,
Mm-hmm.
it could be physical, it could be just growing up in a dysfunctional household, it could be just growing up in a single family household, because there are
Yes.
statistics that shows that the difference between growing up in a two-parent household versus single parent household, no matter how great your single parent is, because it's always feel like something is missing. Whatever the
Yes.
case may be, I want you to grab onto your story. I want you to take power of it, and I want you to start controlling the narrative. What is the best way that a person who has very little income, or maybe you might not have the expenses right now, to go grandiose? Start you a podcast. Control the narrative, tell your story. It will be therapeutic for you to start letting this stuff out, because with the realization of what's really going on with you, then you can start healing and have true growth. Also, put yourself in connection with people who want to see you win, not people that are them frenemies, not people that cannot step back and cheer for you. I'm talking about people who want you to win. Change your environment and change your life, because that's what happened with
Yes.
me. And then lastly, I want you to learn to understand how amazing you are. No matter
Oh.
what your past experiences are, it is not who you are. No matter what the bad thing is, that's just a part of your story. And remember that what happened, the story may have happened to you, but it didn't happen for you. So meaning, let me say that again. Your story is for you to use what happened to you, your experiences, in order to change someone else's life. It's selfish for you to hold that stuff in, because everyone on this earth has an assignment. And everybody on this earth have people that only you can stir them to execution, to
Amen.
act. And
Yes.
so understanding that and taking that responsibility full on, you start that business, start that podcast, join this business school, get in where you currently can fit in. And even though you're going to go up and down that roller coaster of what we call life, don't ever stop. You may change how fast you're moving, but always have some movement. Never be stationary and never give up. Your story matters, your life matters, and the ideas that you have are not coincidences. Those ideas that you're feeling that you need to do this and do that, that is your vision. That is your plan. That is your call to action. You need to get used to leaning into what you see and stop being afraid of the people who are not supporting you and think about the people who will. Because there are people that's going to support you. It may not be family, it may not be friends, but you best believe it's people out there that will lock onto your vision and be able to bring what you're supposed to be doing on this earth to make that impact that's sustainable for a lifetime. And at the end of the day, when you put people first, profit always follow last. You know, it's going to come. It's the boomerang effect. So what is it that you love to do? What is it that you like? What is it that you will do even for free? That is more than like the indicator of what you need to be doing. What was it that you first loved? Mine has always been teaching and telling stories and listening to stories. And that is what I'm doing down to this day. You're not too far removed to what your first love was, your first experience was. So do some soul searching to figure out what that is and have the courage to walk through it. I would say this: go ahead and get your little get that KBBULLC.com and go ahead and get yourself in those classes. And I will also say, for those of you who are local or don't mind driving, get yourself into our Media and Wealth Summit that we're having in Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh my God. Let's talk
Yeah,
about it. Transition, if you will.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, KBBU and CTR Media have decided to collaborate. Dr. Tina J. Ramsay and I are going to put on the event of history. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Listen, it is not just by chance that we had the opportunity to receive the Best of South Carolina Awards just recently at the end of June. We were told that we won in
Yes.
3 days, y'all. In 3 days. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? So, how in the world is it that we won in 3 days for people who have been voting for others for a whole 12 months? Like, that is not by chance. So I'm telling you, if you have any financial issues, if you have even no financial issues, but you want to just improve your life, if you are trying to learn how to accrue wealth, if you're thinking about investing, how you're going to leave that real estate planning for your family, how you going to leave a legacy, intergenerational wealth. If you don't know what that is, get your behind
Mm-hmm.
at the summit. Okay, the summit is going to be an October 11th event. It's going to run from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be at the River Center at Saluda Shows. I'm talking about right here in the beautiful Columbia, South Carolina. So listen, you can go to Eventbrite and get your tickets. And I just want to show y'all, this is a part of our speaking panel. Listen, you need to be in the room. Dr. Tina, you want to tell them a little something about our family of speakers.
Yes. So right now we have for the media side of the Meet and Wealth Summit, we have Dr. Michael Fingley, we have Dr. Nikki Ziegler, and all of us, we're going to speak on branding, visibility. Of course, I'm going to speak on media and marketing in per se. You know, I'm going to always be speaking about podcasting and television, but also the nuances of helping you to understand what social media is, what it isn't, and how you can leverage it for your business, for your brand, for your mission, for your mandate. Because we have some people that are nonprofit driven, and we have some people that are profit driven business. Either or, I'm going to show you how this is going to be done. And also, you're going to see these real life examples from individuals on our panel who are not just saying this stuff, they are living this stuff. And everyone on this panel is verifiable. certified, verified with a gold seal of approval. So I just want you guys to really go it, to go and get your ticket. It's time for you to take your life back. It's time for you to drop all those past insecurities. Whatever happened to you, let that go. Use that as a stepping stone for you to be able to walk into what God has in store for you at the end of the day. And this Media and Wealth Summit is something that is near and dear to Michelle and our heart, because seeing the way that
Yes.
God is moving this particular event and how we are just the forefront people. However, it is him orchestrating what he want you guys to have and hear and be able to experience, because this is making history and you want to be a part of the first one. There will never be another first Media and Wealth Summit. This is the first. This is the groundbreaker. This is the history making, and we want you to be a part of it. We have some great, great stuff. We also going to be doing some recognitions and awards, all that good
Yes.
stuff. So
Yes.
giveaways. It's going to be just really the event of the year and bringing it right on home to the beautiful South Carolina, because it's
South
a
Carolina
lot
in
going
the
on
house.
in South Carolina. Y'all don't be sleeping on South Carolina. Okay. Because we
Please.
over here doing the thing. So come on over and get your ticket by going to Eventbrite if you're from KBBU, and if you from CTR, you can go to ctrmedianetwork.com. But just go ahead and get your ticket, because once they're sold out, that
That's
is
it.
it.
That is
That's it.
all. And make sure that you get a VIP ticket. Listen, don't
Yes.
be playing around. On Eventbrite, you can see that there is a general ticket, there is a VIP ticket, and even we have vendor tables available. So you can get your vendor table. Now, you do need to run it by us because there might be a duplicate table that's already paid for. But we do want to make sure that we have a variety of businesses there. So make sure that you get a VIP ticket, because the VIP ticketers, they are going to have special treatment. They're going to be treated like royalty, right, Dr. Cena? They're
Oh
going to be
yeah.
coming through with swag bags, and you'll be looking over there like, I should have got a VIP ticket. And then it's going to be too late. So listen, don't even make that mistake, because we're telling you it's only limited seats left. And we want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you get the best opportunity at the Media and Wealth Summit. We're going to have some music. We're going to be dancing. We got food.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to feed you. Do you understand? This is a really huge event. We're going to have giveaways that you do not want to not be in the room for. I'm talking about you
Mm-hmm.
got to be present to win, and you're going to want to win this. Okay?
Yes,
So,
yes.
so we ain't playing no games. We are not playing any games. This is not a small event. We have over 300 people that will be present at this event, and it will be sold out soon. So I'm just trying to tell you, you're going to be seeing us everywhere, and then you're going to be like, oh, I should have got a ticket, and I should have got a VIP while I had the opportunity, but now I ain't got the opportunity because all the seats are gone. Okay, so that's why we're trying to tell you right now, like, don't play around with this Media and Wealth Summit, because this is going to be something that is going to make history, and it is going to be unforgettable. It's going to be talked about for months and even years after this event has taken place. So make sure that you are in the room. Make sure you're not just in the room by yourself now. Make sure you go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and tell 2 or 3 other people to come on with you, so you can fill up the row, and so y'all can be dancing and having fun, and getting your eat on, your grub on. Let me tell you something. I give you a little hint. We gonna have some ribs out there, and we gonna have some mac and cheese. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say right there. That's all I'm gonna say. But you need to get your tickets today, because we are not playing a game. This is gonna be the event of a lifetime. It's gonna change your life. It is solution oriented. It is not about the hype. It is about
Mm-hmm.
the answers to the problems that you are facing in your personal and in your business life. So hands down, it's nothing like this has ever been presented to the world. What we're giving you are things that we would normally give in our individual courses that cost, as Dr. Tina J. Ramsay would say, with a comma. Okay, so we're giving those secrets away to the general public. We're going to be talking about all of these things at this event, and you don't want to miss it. But listen, I thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Tina, so much for coming on to do your interview today of Where Are They Now. We are super excited to get this out here for everybody to see and hear your story, because it is a beautifully done story. God could not have done it a different way. It is such an amazing opportunity to have life on earth and to do business with you. Thank you so much for being you.
Oh, no,
Oh,
don't make me cry. Me and you, us never part.
okay. All right. Which one am I? Nettie or Celia? Anyway, we just cutting up, y'all. But thank you guys for watching. Where are they now? And until next Tuesday from 6 p.m. until we get finished, make sure that you got your notification set at kb.michellegreen, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.